Alright, so the main topic of this video is beings who stand amongst the semi-divine entities of myth and legend. Protagonists who exhibit feats of incredible strength, fighting prowess, and cunning that are commonplace in both scripture and early secular literature. Usually possessing supernatural or superhuman powers, beings who are dedicated to fighting the evil of their universe, protecting the public, and usually battling supervillains. Some refer to them as comic book characters. However, these beings are usually referred to as superheroes. The main topic of this video. Before we get there, we have to tie in something else, and you'll see why in a moment. I'm not really one for getting super personal, on my channel. I mean, there's been a couple instances, maybe a little more sprinkled throughout the channel's history, but being like emotionally vulnerable, being really personal is not really my thing for me. But I think maybe all of this might help someone or help heal someone, so I guess here I am. But it's not to mention I was talking with Chris Stuckman last night, and he told me something that really took me aback and really helped me continue the courage to want to tell something a bit dark from my past as well. So, in the Chris Stuckman thing, we'll get to that in the next video, but I've never told anyone this, so just allow me the moment. We'll segue into superheroes in just a moment, but I think this happened when I was about I believe it was in the 90s. I'm not sure which year, probably sometime between maybe 95 to 99, 97 to 99, but essentially that's when it happened, the sexual abuse, and I don't know, some wild shit. I mean, I don't want to get too deep, but as far as I know, it happened like in a basement on a bed. I know who the person is, but I'm not gonna, it's weird because, for the longest time I couldn't really tell if it was like, I still go back and forth, like, it's this memory, these reoccurring images are sort of fragmented and hazy, like, was it like a nightmare, but I knew after a while that, like, the memory wasn't a nightmare, because like what little kid into adulthood has this reoccurring explicit memory, I used to just treat it as like it was a nightmare, like maybe what happened on the bed was just but ever since then, when it comes to, like, growing up, I wanted to be a humanitarian, oddly enough, for a little bit, and I've, whether it be like the, my videos on Michael Jackson or like on R. Kelly, pedophile behavior has been, that's, or like rape, that type of stuff, it's really triggering for me, it's hard, stuff like that, it just really fucking fucks with me bad, and so to connect to the superhero aspect, 3 years ago, when I was watching Mr. Robot for the first time, I had this idea, and I thought, if after today I had to live my life as a superhero, but I had no superpowers, and my life was no different no different after tomorrow, you know? Like after tomorrow, it's you know, it's the same lifestyle. It's still me. I have no supernatural powers, but I have to become a superhero. What would that look like, you know? What would a ultra-realistic superhero story look like? And what would that look like for me, you know? And the best answer, and I'm very curious to see what you guys will come up with. How would you become a superhero starting tomorrow, if you had to, until the day that you died? The best answer that I could come up with is that I imagine this scenario of like, what if like, so you've heard of you've heard the deep web, so you've had to have heard of the dark web, right? So what if, like, I was always traveling, you know, and like I had like some kind of bat cave, you will, maybe in some kind of abandoned building, or at different friends or family members' houses, maybe in a facility like this, you know, but has some kind of bat cave, if you will, and I always traveled on the road, you know. Maybe I'll live outside. I'll live in like a pimped out van or like a bus or something. Probably like a van, you know. Think like, you know, the van could be like my Batmobile, if you will. And when I say van, think of sort of like, you know, Alex Holland's van that he lives out of. And you know, that could be like my Batmobile. And what if I started by using the dark web? Because on the dark web, unfortunately, you know, there's like child pornography that can be found there. There's websites that are dedicated to like human trafficking, and you know, like pedophile rings and shit like that. Like, you can literally sell and buy people on the dark web. It's fucking insane. And what if, like, I have like disposable computers in a safe house to access the dark web, and I went on the dark web, and I tried finding the people responsible for human trafficking, you know? Or maybe, you know, what if I, bought these children to save them? Or what if I, like, flagged these websites for the FBI to shut down, you know what I mean? How incredible would that be, you know? Maybe take down sexual abusers that way, possibly. And also, you know, finding people that slid through the cracks in the justice system, you know, and like, you know, performing like vigilante sort of acts towards them in like a Charlie Cox Daredevil type of way, you know. For example, like if some sexual abuser kind of falls through the cracks of the system, maybe I could find that person and, you know, like fuck that person up and like ruin their life, you know what I'm saying? And I could, you know, start working out ferociously and completely change my diet and get to a physicality of like and maybe like a Michael J. White or like a Conor McGregor or something, and maybe I could get to like a fighting level that they're on, you know what I'm saying? And maybe I could get to like a Kimbo Slice, get to that kind of place physically, from a physicality standpoint, you know. So I could find these terrible people who slid through the cracks and invoke vengeance on them, you know what I mean? and it would be cool if I had like some kind of costume that could be put together by simply just going to places such as like Home Depot or Menards or something, or ordering things from obscure websites to build my own distinctive superhero costume that I would wear, you know. And I'm not sure what my superhero name, what should my superhero name be? Let me know down below. But that was my best crack. I think that's how I would become a superhero. I don't know if you've ever seen videos of people who have these like psychotic workout routines, and they almost seem like superhuman. If I could get to that level and have my own costume, and I got this van that I travel out of, so I'm always moving, you know, so that I can evade the cops, because to say that vigilante activity is illegal is an understatement. And like, what if what I was doing as a superhero, like what if I started turning up in like newspapers and like on the news and like viral videos? People are like, oh my god, have you heard about this Batman like guy going around, you know, saving kids and stopping these sexual abusers and these other terrible people who've not received the correct justice from the law, you know what I mean? And to me, that's how I would become a superhero. If starting tomorrow, today I died, if I had to become a superhero, that's how I would become a superhero. I think that would be the most craziest fucking thing ever, you know? And yeah, again, what should my superhero name be? Let me know down below. And yeah, I don't know what my costume would look like either. Like not even just a costume. I would have to find. I'd probably have to wear like some kind of makeup even too, so no one could even tell my ethnicity or my race or something. You know what I'm saying? Make it really difficult for people to find out like who's behind the mask. You know, maybe I could inspire other vigilante heroes to follow in the same route. It would be terrifying to think of like what supervillain type of people might try to come after me. And it was funny, is everything I'm telling you, it was gonna be like a story, like a film idea, which it still might be, for the record. But yeah, I was very curious of what you guys thought of my idea for becoming a real life superhero. And in turn, now I'm going to turn the question over to you, you know, because, yeah, I mean, what happened to me in the 90s, and, you know, also from watching Mr. Robot about 3 years ago, that kind of sparked this superhero concept idea, clearly. And honestly, I mean, maybe I've never been to a therapist, but I think maybe I may go to a therapist now in the future. And for anyone who's kind of been through like a similar type of abuse, I would recommend the same. Like, even just walking in here, I felt like this like weight was kind of lifted off me, because it's like, man, to think that I could finally get past that memory or bury it is really, I don't know. But I don't know, let me know what you thought of this superhero idea, this concept. And again, if you've had similar type of abuse, listen, clearly you're not alone. And to say that I was uncomfortable about talking about this is a fucking understatement. I can barely even keep my eyes on the camera. But I don't know, hopefully my story maybe persuades you to go talk to someone about maybe what happened to you, you know? Because that was another thing, like with, well, you'll find out about the Chris Stuckman thing on your own terms, of course. But I was so struck by how Chris Stuckman was so willing to be open with me, which I really appreciated. So I thought, man, I would like to be that open. So here we are, you know. But I turn the question over to you. If starting tomorrow, today that you died, you had to become a superhero. Only using the resources around you. Your life is no different. How would you become a superhero starting tomorrow? What would your superhero name be? What should my superhero name be? Let me know your thoughts down below, and yeah. A superhero idea, I've been thinking about that for a long time. Like, fuck, what if I actually die? I mean, I would never do such a thing because I fucking value my life. But like, I mean, I don't think I would ever do anything like that. I mean, that would be completely crazy of a thing for me to do. Right? I mean, I would never do something like that. Right?